way to get what you want in life isn't what you think. In fact, the more you chase something, whether it's a job, success, or a relationship, the harder it seems to get. You put in all this effort, you focus on it constantly, and yet somehow it still feels out of reach. I know this feeling well, and recently I had a conversation with a friend who was struggling with the same thing. We were walking outside and she told me how stuck she felt, like no matter how much she tried, she couldn't move forward in her career, in her ambitions, or even in her personal life. She wanted to change and she wanted it fast. But what I told her is something that took me years to realize. For the longest time, I thought that success, progress, and getting what I want all came down to effort. That if I just cared enough, tried hard enough, and put in more energy than everyone else, I will get there. I overanalyzed every decision, every move, every opportunity. I thought that if I could just control everything, if I could avoid mistakes, if I could anticipate every possible outcome, I do have the advantage. But in reality, all of that pressure, all that attachment to the result, it was holding me back. I start noticing the gap between thinking about doing something and actually doing it was getting wider. I wanted to take action, but I was hesitating. I was waiting for the perfect moment. I was worried about failing, about looking unprepared, about getting it wrong. And because of that, I ended up stuck in the same place. So I made a shift. I stopped obsessing over whether everything was perfectly planned. I stopped waiting until I had all the answers. I stopped worrying so much about what other people might think. And when I let go of all that unnecessary pressure, something strange happens. I actually started making progress. This is where most people go wrong. We assume that the more we care, the more we stress over something, and the more likely we are to get it. We believe that if we just want it badly enough, it will happen. But what if that approach is actually working against us? Think about it. If you walk into a job interview desperate to get hired, you're overthinking every answer, analyzing interviews' reaction, second-guessing yourself. You are tense, and that tension shows. The same thing happens in relationships. If you go on a date terrified of messing up, trying too hard to impress, you don't come across as confident. You come across as nervous, uncertain, and sometimes even desperate. And in business, whether you're grinding for the next level, pushing too hard, or constantly worried about making everything just right, you burn yourself out before you even get there. It's exhausting, and worse, it doesn't even work. The reason is very simple. Neediness repels, confidence attracts. Look at the people who seem to get opportunities effortlessly. The ones who aren't begging for attention, the ones who aren't constantly worried about proving themselves. They walk into the room with a certain energy, not because they don't care, but because they are not attached to the outcome. They know that if this opportunity doesn't work out, another one will. And that allows them to be present, to perform better, to handle things with ease. This brings me to something called the law of detachment. It means putting in your best effort and then letting go out of the outcome. And when you do that, things start to work in your favor. Now, this isn't just about being careless or indifferent. It's about freeing yourself from stress or needing these things to go exactly as planned. Imagine what life would feel like if you could let go of that constant pressure. No more spiraling over every little decision, no more anxiety about whether things will work out, no more second guessing yourself at every turn. If you land the job, great. If not, there's another one out there for you. If your relationship works out, amazing. If not, then it wasn't the right one. If your business takes off, fantastic. If not, that doesn't mean you won't succeed. It just means you need to pivot. Either way, you're fine. You're still moving forward. And that's the mindset that makes the biggest difference. The most successful people, entrepreneurs, athletes, performers, they care deeply about what they do, but they are not dependent on a specific outcome. They don't crumble when things don't go their way. They don't get stuck in overthinking. They trust the process. And this is where confidence is built. When you show up, you do your best and let go of the outcome, you put yourself in a completely different position. Instead of reacting to life, you are leading it. But there is something even deeper to this. Recognize that you are already enough. For a long time, I struggled with perfectionism. And what I learned about perfectionism is it's not really about wanting to be perfect. It's about never feeling good enough. It's about always thinking you need to do more, be more, fix something before you take action. This mindset kept me stuck for years. I was waiting for the right condition, for the right knowledge, for some sign that I was ready. But there is no perfect moment, and there is no version of you that suddenly is ready one day. The only way forward is to start before you feel ready. When I finally understood this, I stopped waiting. I launched my first business before I had figured everything out. I just created content with just a phone, even though I was terrified. I started betting on myself, not because I was 100% confident, but because I decided that what I had was already enough. And this is something I see over and over again. People hesitate thinking they need more qualifications, more experience, more validation before they take action. But the truth is, the real growth happens after you start, not before. I see so many people waiting for approval, waiting for someone to say, you're good enough now. But no one is going to do that. No one is coming to give you permission to chase what you want. You have to take that step on your own, even if it's uncomfortable, even when you don't feel fully prepared. And there is something else to consider. The fear of judgment and rejection that stops so many people from taking action. It's not real, it's just a story you're telling yourself. The truth is, people who truly matter in your life will support you, and the ones who judge, they were never important to begin with. So why waste another moment living for someone else's approval? Why not start building the life you actually want, the one that aligns with your value and your goals and your version of success? When you stop caring about the wrong things, you become powerful. When you stop letting fear hold you back, you become unstoppable. To stop waiting, to stop hesitating, to start moving forward. Because if you have put in the effort, then you already won. If this resonated with you, I think you do also like my next video where I'll talk about how simple shift in mindset change the way I work and life. I will see you there.